I made this short about how people say Bitcoin is useless, and I say, look at how it's paying me monthly dividends without selling any of my Bitcoin stash. We're gonna get into the video today because somebody in the beautiful comments asked me to do a video on it. Let's go. So the fund that I'm investing in is STY, and it's doing a covered call strategy on the underlying asset, which is MicroStrategies. Has a distribution rate of 165.16%, which is their dividend yield for the year, meaning that if you put in money at January 1st of 2024 and January 21st of 2025, you would have made all your money that you invested back plus 65% more. In dividends, now it says the 30-day yield is 0. I'm assuming that it fluctuates so much that they're not giving an actual number, because the dividends that you receive every month are not necessarily close to one another. But if I'm doing 165 divided by 12, you're getting around 13%. Let's just see how accurate that is based off of the current price. So we have to divide by 100, multiply that by, I think the current price is $35. Yeah, $35.55. And so we see the current dividend payout is $4.81. And let's check that with the actual price that they just gave out. So distribution rate is 4.4. Okay, so pretty close. And I was doing that based off of the current price of Misty when the actual price at that time was not 35. So the math is still mathing. Look at these beautiful dividends, $4.04, $4.01. This is based off of, again, the underlying stock of MicroStrategies. MicroStrategies correlates with Bitcoin. I can look at it on the website here. I can look at the dividends here, but typically we see the dividends being lower when the price is kind of in that consolidation era. But then when we have, let me zoom in here. So here, it's kind of not doing something or it's in a decline. But then when we look at the price from here to here, we see a 61% increase. And so the dividends from there were $4.01. And if I want to take it from the previous date all the way to the current one, another 69% increase. And we saw another nice juicy dividend of $4.42. And I'll leave a link in the description. The video that follows this video will tell you why I chose Misty, but the reason I have so much money in this is because I took out a loan because I had this as a strategy. I said, Bitcoin's gonna blow up because we're heading into the bull market. MicroStrategies follows Bitcoin. Misty gives dividends based off of the volatility of MicroStrategies. So this is gonna be a win-win-win. I knew that I'm going to have to use the dividends to pay off the loan, but it's fine because look at the payout, 8.8K, 8.4K, 3.7K, 3.8K. I don't do anything. This is just extra money that I have to pay off this loan. Once the loan's paid off, I now have a nice juicy extra income coming in. Now, I will be shifting into a different asset as Bitcoin cools down from the bull market and enters into the bear market. But this is how I'm getting dividends each month from Bitcoin without ever touching my actual stash of Bitcoin. It's a beautiful thing. This ain't checkers, it's chess. So if you want to know why I chose Misty, if you want to know the complete setup of the strategy and all that, yeah, check out the video that follows this video. So in a quest to give you more value, I'm going to explain a little bit more about dividends. just in case you're interested, the most important things that I care about when I'm deciding dividends. I'm looking at the X date, I'm looking at the dividend yield, and I'm looking at the payment date. Now, what I care about most is the dividend yield. So I can figure out how much money that I plan to get back within the particular year by looking at the dividend yield. So let's say we have $10,000 to put into this fund. I'm gonna multiply this by the dividend yield, which is 1.52. So I would expect about 15K in dividends paid to me. What are dividends? Dividends are just extra money that a company or a fund gives you for investing in their particular product. It's like the interest the bank pays you, but you're getting a lot more from dividends than you ever will from interest in a bank. So now that I know that I'm expected about 15K, maybe I want to go forward with this, maybe I don't, but I also want to plan out when I'm getting paid. So these used to get paid out at the beginning of the month, but now they're paying at the end of the month. And that kind of messed me up because I have to pay off my loan with these payments. Luckily, I had enough money that I could still make the payment. So if I were to get out another loan, I'm not gonna do that, but I'm just saying, I would wanna make sure that the payment for the loan would be at the start of the previous month because I know that I could have the cash in my bank account by the time the payment is due. Next, and this is kind of the most important part of owning a dividend, is the ex-dividend date. The last ex-dividend date for this fund was 11/21. So I'm gonna pull up a calendar. My gosh, does anybody know how to make this go away? It's super annoying. Anyway, pulling up the calendar, Misty's ex-dividend date was 11/21. So that means I need to own the shares by the 20th. And I don't even like to play with that. So I wanna make sure I lock in by the 19th. So it's the day before the ex-dividend date that you have to have the shares in order to get the dividend. What do I mean by that? As an example, if I purchase Misty, those 1,000 shares on the 21st, I would not have access to the payout of 4,412 or whatever it was. You have to have the shares by the day before the ex-dividend date. And now the final piece of extra value to you, let's say again, this is your payout. I personally take 30% without question, no matter what my tax bracket is. I take 30% of my payout, I'm moving that to one of my bank accounts for tax purposes. I like the peace of mind of having a stash of money reserved for taxes. And let's say I end up not having to pay any extra in taxes. I now have a large chunk of money that I can use for investments or paying off debt, whatever. So whatever my dividend payouts are, I typically do like a 70-30, 30 going to taxes, 70 going to debt, or I do a 40-30-30 where 40 is going to debt, 30 is going to some products that I've been wanting to purchase and try out, and the other 30 is going to taxes. But I think that's everything that I know about dividends, so I'm gonna have Afro close the show for us. If you found value in this video, please remember to pay that like tax, share this with somebody who is interested in making money off of Bitcoin without actually selling any Bitcoin. If you have any questions, comment below so I can answer them for you. And until the next one, remember to smile because you are beautiful. Peace.